Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Tucker Tuesday. What's going on, chat? Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's having a lovely, lovely Tuesday out there today. Just getting this pulled up here.
Well,
I thought I had it ready. No, you quiet, you. Thought I had it ready, but I did not. Hello, Shadowcat, J. Kate, Looney, Lenny, Kiro, Soldier, Pinky Salmon, Joshua Montgomery, Brian, how's it going? Cy Cake, Frankie Deller. What's going on, guys? How we doing? Shiru Gospel, hello, hello. Oh, man, do I have a whole bunch of housekeeping stuff to go over. Can't work out today. Got to get a PT assessment Thursday because I could not get it done today. I am sad. I have finally gone back to the 5x5 because I don't really like any. Pyramid's a good workout, but that's one that I really do more towards the summer when I don't have a time restraint and I can just be at the gym. I have to get the kids ready for school and shit. But yeah, I started 5x5 and oh my god, I'm gonna die. I took a nap this afternoon. I took a nap because I needed it. I'm exhausted always. Kaiser, I was just talking about you to my buddy. I took a nap. I slept for like 3.5 hours this afternoon. I laid down at like, okay, maybe 2.5. I laid down at about 3 and I woke up at 5:30 and I was like, holy shit, I fucked up bad. I've been working on some stuff after the show last night and I'll get into that in a minute, but I slept and I was like, oh my god, I'm such an asshole. How could I sleep so long? Hit the like button. Do it now. That's true. Grimops, he has a point. Do indeed hit the like button and make sure you're over on the Silent Sin channel. Okay, where do I get in these determined moods and I just kind of send all my knives up in the air spinning at the same time. Okay, where do I start? One, I have gone through and done a tangential. I have gone through and done a tangential change to the donation menu down below. I've cut a few ones that I want to keep in half, and I have added a few new ones, and I've also taken a whole bunch out. But if you notice the ones with little dashes next to them, let me bring up the watch page so I can just point it out. The donation, oh, you can't even see that, can you? Can I make it bigger? There we go. So if you look down below, you notice these little dashes next to the donations. Those are ones that are sitting on the chopping block. They either don't get hit enough, they don't get hit often, but these are the ones I'm looking at moving out. Anything with a little dash next to it is something I'm looking to move out. Stuff that can, in my opinion, can go. So as you donate tonight, if you do decide to donate, and you see something on there that you would like to keep, a donation that you would like to have kept on the channel, please consider hitting one of those, because if and I'm going to go through and I'm going to make a whole new thing for this actually. As we go through, and this is for a week, just a week. Things that get hit, file save as, desktop, new dono menu. Bang. Things that get hit, I will take the little dash off of, and after next week's Sunday, so not this week, next week's Sunday, that one is going to be the 15th. After the 15th, anyone that doesn't get hit is going to get deleted. So I leave it up to you guys on the things you would like to see, because this is a show for you. This is entertainment for you, and if you decide to toss a couple of bucks in the hat, that's just a profit to me, but this is up to you guys on the stuff that you would like to keep. So that's one part of it. 2, we're getting ready to send out the McKinley packages, and I hope to have, because they waited a week to send my stickers. They were supposed to be out now, but of course, you know, USPS is fantastic at their job. If you feel like joining the McKinley Club, now's the time. We have enough stuff for 15 packages. Everyone's going to get 2 coasters, a magnet, and a bunch of stickers. And once these packages are done, they're done. I don't know if we're going to have another one, but we're halfway to sold out. We have 5 extra of the first Comic Club packages, and those are also ready to go. Anybody who feels like joining, so you'll have doubled up on the Comic Club package. If you are a part of the McKinley Club, please reach out to me with your information. If you have not already, I know a bunch of you have done so, so we should be just about good on that. If you have reached out to me, just know I see it. If you have not, then you should. And Luna did something pretty interesting yesterday, and I think this is something I would like to open up generally. If you feel like, if you're already part of the Stacker Club or the McKinley Club, whatever, what have you, if you are gonna be a true fucking gentleman, you can donate for somebody else to get the swag. So like Luna donated so Shiru Gospel could be part of the McKinley Club. And Shiru is going to get a package and Luna is going to get a package. So if this is something you feel like you're really up to, if you have a chat buddy that you really want to show love to, that's exactly how you do it. So I think we can open that up to the wide world of YouTube. And finally, I am pretty resolved on this issue. I applied for monetization today on the Silent Sin. It got denied for reused content because I'm dual streaming all the time. The dual streams to Sinatra Screams and the dual streams to Sinatra Says Second will stop at the end of next week. Same time period. End of next week, the new donations are going to take over. The ones without the little dashes next to them will stay. The ones that still have little dashes that have not been hit are going to go. I realize it's the end of the month. I realize it's not the greatest time monetarily for a lot of people during the month. So I'm going to extend it out till the middle of next month. And anything by then, the Sinatra Screams and Sinatra Says Second will be laid to rest. The donations that have not been hit will be deleted and space will be freed up. The McKinley Club packages should be out by then, and we should be well on our way to the next Comic Club package round. There's a little bit of housekeeping stuff. I want to keep you guys up to date on the stuff I'm working on over here. I am going to try to start doing much more Twitch streaming going forward. So that I think whatever we don't finish here for Tucker will be done Thursday, saving, my co-host not showing up and having to make up a day, whatever. That's my idea going forward. And to the 150-something people who asked last night, I don't know what's going on with Drunkle. I just don't know. He says he's not feeling well, and that is what it is. That situation, I don't know what else to call it, is so far down on my worry list at the moment that I'm just, if he doesn't show up, we just got to do it without him. That's all there is to it. We just got to do it without him. You're on the wrong chat, though, Kaiser. You're on the wrong chat. I don't know if he is not interested in doing the show. I don't think that's the case. But I am of the opinion that being transparent to the viewing audience, the people that make the shows good, is of the utmost importance to us. So I'm telling you guys what I know. And this is exactly what it is. I know everyone assumes he's sick. And then there's the internet stuff. I don't know. I simply do not know. So I transparency to the people is the most important to me. I'm probably going to get in shit for saying this, but I really don't care. The fact of the matter is that we're having to pick up a bunch of slack, and I think Polly deserves so much more appreciation than the shit he gets for picking up like he did, because he felt like death yesterday and he still showed up. So yeah, that's the long and the short of it. These two channels are putting in their 2-week notice, the Sinatra Says Second and the Sinatra Screams. They're on their 2-week notice. The donations down below with the little dashes next to them are also on their 2-week notice. And Twitch, I'm going to try to do a I'm going to put a concerted effort forward to do more on Twitch come Thursday. I don't care. It's kind of harsh, man. Look, I know what I can and what I cannot do, and I cannot make people do something they don't want to do or unable to do. So I have realized that is out of my hands. So all in all, it is an I don't care. If Drunkle can't show up or doesn't want to show up, there's literally nothing I can do about it. I can't fly over to England and take him by the ear and drag him in front of his computer. He's going to make his decisions. He is a grown man. There's been a few times, especially in the past couple of weeks, that it's just been a no call, no show. So I just don't know. I don't know what to do. So I'm just keeping you guys informed, and this is the path forward. And it's time. Stagnation, making no changes, doing anything like that, it does not for a good show make. That I want to keep things new. I want to keep donations new. I want to keep shows fresh, interesting, entertaining, etc., etc. So in that, I have done a whole bunch of new donations down below. You guys see them. A bunch of stuff changed around. Yeah, San Miguel, that's a fact. That's a fact. You seem more driven this year. I really am. This has been my dream job forever. Like this has just been my dream job forever and a half. And I am determined. I can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and over. I got to keep stuff fresh. I got to keep stuff new. The one thing I'm going to do, and you know, there's stuff that's out of my hands, like YouTube taking monetization away from a channel. YouTube shadow banning it. That shit's kind of out of my hand, and I've had to recover from that a few times. But the fact of the matter is, I am, and I feel like I say this a lot, but I know that I know what I'm capable of. I don't know how else to put it. I know what I'm capable of. So I'm gonna really put my nose to the grindstone. The next couple of months are gonna be a little rocky. Next couple of months, I'd say next couple of weeks are gonna be a little rocky between getting these packages up and ready to go and finishing up the work I've done to the bar. And so I'm gonna try to get a speakeasy video recorded tomorrow night. So my time on the AAA will have to be kept right to time, or at least a half an hour after. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's it. It's 2-week notice on a lot of shit, man. I'm consolidating. I am pulling everything in, and I'm gonna just nose to the grindstone and build up these two channels. I built up a main channel with demonetization to 200,000 something subs. Then YouTube hit another shadow ban button, and then it just didn't go out to anybody. So I know that I can do it. I have to watch myself a little bit extra. I have to watch what I say. I have to watch what I have to watch some of the stuff I say, but I just have to do it. I have to do it, and it's gonna get done. So that's the housekeeping stuff. TLDR, Sinatra Screams and Sinatra Says Second will be going away the 15th. That will be the last time any of these channels are used. That week, the week of the 15th, we'll do the second channel stream over there, and then that's it. It's gone. Donations down below. Anything with the little dash mark next to it is on the chopping block. If they're not hit by the same time period, they will be going away as well. Packages will be sent out in that same time period. So all the McKinley Club packages and anybody who joins from then till now will be sent out. Furthermore, we have less than half of the allotted stuff remaining. So if you want to get it, now's the time, because I am fucking, of course, keeping one of everything. So if you want to get on that, now's the time. In the package, you get 2 coasters, a magnet, and a bunch of fucking stickers. And now's the time to get in on that. And that's it. That's it. We're going to start, after that week, we're going to start getting to work on the next comma package. The Sinatra Channel Network is getting Old Yeller, old one being put down for the new generation to now be free. That's damn right. And it's the same thought behind the donations as well. I'm putting down, I'm putting a couple of old donations to sleep so we can let new ones out and run free. So guys, please smash the like button. Do you stream on Rumble? No, but I think going forward I will. I think I will after that time period. I think everything I do can be dual streamed to Rumble. I don't see why not. I've also been really every video, and it is by a per video basis based on what I have available. Early access to the videos have been going up on Patreon day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days early. And also my locals, they have been going up there as well. So that's definitely something worth considering if you want to be a patron. $5 a month will get you early access to everything. Or I think it's any level of support over on locals will get you access to everything. So guys, this is what I have for you. This is what I'm working on. These are the things I have to put forward. It for your consideration, I guess. For your consideration. But guys, please smash the like button. Please share it out on your social media. If you feel so inclined, please hit up the Streamlabs. Like I said earlier, anything with a little dash next to it is a donation that is on the chopping block, whether it is surprising none of the fart donations are on the chopping block. Actually, I just straight up deleted like 3 of them. I just straight up deleted them, and I took a whole lot out. I must have taken out a dozen or so donations that I just didn't even remember, so I couldn't tell you the last time they were hit. Or they were super time period topical and shit like that. So I just took a whole bunch out. I cut a bunch by half because times are tough and people like the stuff. They just can't afford to see it, so it's cut by half. So the ones with little dashes next to it are on the chopping block. The ones with question marks next to it are new or reordered ones with a little bit of a spin, a different amount, etc., etc. So yeah, smash like, share it out. Make sure you're on the silence and watching, as the rest of the channels will be going away. When they do go away, as long as I remember, I have to keep that as a caveat. As long as I remember, when the Sinatra Screams channel goes away, we will absolutely be streaming to Rumble.
They got a dick, and it's gay! And don't say the dick makes it cuter! That doesn't make it cuter! That makes it even gayer! And you send me pictures of them with their little skirts lifted and their fucking nuts hanging out! I don't want to see that shit! They got a dick, and it's...
Oh, fuck me. I love that donation. I was really hoping that would be the first one. Don't touch the ducks, you son of a bitch. Having to cut back on donos lately, but will still support moving forward. Thank you so much, J-Kate. And just so you can see it too, it's at 3824, 3824. I'm going to do this as loud as I can. 3824. Dash deleted. Bang. Thank you very much. And let's get to, guys. Make sure you're on the silence and go to the silence in.
Well, the geniuses at the Mars Corporation imagined you might want to be lectured about sexual politics while you ate their chocolate candies.
I hate how this stuff is just kind of
Jones
ignored.
barbecue and foot massage. Jones barbecue and foot massage. Better come down here, get some of this shit.
Let's see what this is. I also hope you enjoyed the B videos on Discord that I posted for you. I got to tell you, I didn't see him. I'm sorry, but I will take a look later, maybe. Thank you, Punch Drunk Jester. What do you guys think? Jones BBQ and foot massage. Jones BBQ foot massage. What? Well, I didn't see him, and you're on the wrong channel.
It turns out a lot of people didn't want that. They just wanted a snack. A dramatic new chapter tonight in the ongoing M&M wars. We'll have an update in just a moment. But first, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Whatever happened to Antifa?
I asked for them. I asked for B donations? What? B video? Oh, the B videos. Oh my God, I completely fucking forgot. I'm so sorry. Tag me in it again. We'll watch it right here if you don't mind me showing it on the channel. We'll watch it right here. Tag me in it again.
Ever wonder that? The shadowy, heavily armed left-wing militia group, the guys dressed like stormtroopers in black masks. You remember them, of course, well from the summer of 2020. They burned our cities that year. Churches and police stations and courthouses. Now, the point of the violence they committed, the extensive violence and the killings they committed, was to defeat Donald Trump. Make the country so chaotic that voters would want to change. And they were effective in doing that. So effective that Kamala Harris herself raised money to bail them out of jail. In the end, Antifa played a pivotal role in our presidential election that year, more so than any other organized bloc of voters. Then, the moment Joe Biden was inaugurated, Antifa seemed to disappear. Nobody asked any questions.
They really did, too. It was fucking magical how that happened. They're just like, no, Biden's good. This guy's got this. They don't need us anymore.
About where they went, much less about who they were or who was paying them. They'd served their purpose and then they left. So in retrospect, it's very clear who Antifa was and is. Antifa is the armed instrument of the permanent Democratic establishment in Washington.
And that's a fact.
Their job is to mobilize when politically necessary. Now, this is a new thing in the United States, but political militia are a common feature.
Cops let it all happen? Why do you think?
In third world politics. They were a staple in Haiti. In our country, however, only one party has them, the Democratic Party. They're the only ones with armed militia in the street. So with that in mind, it's interesting.
No, no, we can't let that one skate by. They are obviously not the only ones with armed militia in the street. They are the only ones who don't get the SWAT team called on them for having armed militia in the street. That's what's interesting. Sin was saying the same thing about the riots months ago. Fucking shocking. Thank you, Fastonia.
Interesting to note that Antifa is back in force. And that's probably not a very good sign for Joe Biden. If nothing else, Antifa has a solid track record of getting rid of sitting presidents. Here's a report from Fox 5 in Atlanta over.
Sin was way ahead of the tuck on this one. That does seem to be the case, but the issue is I say so much horse shit, it's hard to cut the wheat from the chaff anymore.
The weekend.
But I'm telling you guys, I am mother effing spot on with this cop stuff. All this cop stuff, I am absolutely spot on.
Police arrested 6 people in the violent protest that left several buildings damaged and a police car destroyed after it was set on fire. Downtown Atlanta erupted into a scene of chaos Saturday night. As a protest took a violent turn, at least 3 buildings were damaged when rioters threw bricks and rocks, shattering windows. At least 2 police cars were targeted. One even lit on fire.
It's crazy how they can get away with this, yet people who just, showed up on January 6th are still sitting in the solitary confinement cells.
Atlanta police say within 2 blocks of the protesters starting their destruction, they dispersed the crowd. 6 people were arrested. All of them are facing 8 charges, including domestic terrorism and arson. Only one is a Georgia resident.
Unleash the wackos! Somebody has unleashed the wackos. There's always a pretext for this. There's always a story they tell you to pretend it's spontaneous. It just happened. They just got so mad that they flew in from all over.
Yeah, they just got so mad that they got bussed in from all over the country and just decided right now that this was the time to go from Pittsburgh and LA to go set a cop car on fire.
The country to stage a riot. Now, the story behind this riot, the one you're seeing on TV, is that a guy called Tortuguita, apparently an Antifa environmentalist, a person who uses they, it as pronouns, decided to shoot a state trooper in Georgia, and then the cops shot back and killed it in response. So that
Weird how nobody's shooting these people, because everybody saw what happened to the last person who stood up to the mob. He got dragged publicly for months. People still call him a murderer. He spent God knows how many millions of dollars on a trial. So yeah, they're not trying to do it again.
That's the story they're telling to explain the riots. It doesn't make a lot of sense, actually, but everyone in the media is running with this, CNN included and especially. CNN, in fact, turned to a freelance reporter called David Peisner to explain exactly what happened this weekend in Atlanta. Watch this.
There's a real blurring of the lines in the use of the word violence. Is property destruction violence? To some people, it certainly is. But, you know, this idea that breaking windows or other acts of property destruction are the same as actual violence against humans it's kind of a dangerous and slippery concept. You keep using these words, violent, and it gives the impression, I mean, the only violence or the only acts of violence against people that I saw were actually police tackling protesters.
What is it?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's the only violence, police tackling protesters. I mean, if you just shut your eyes and don't think about it, it makes sense. Isn't that right, Sam? Sam?
Every neoliberal talk like a sociology professor at a community college. You ever notice that? So that's David Peisner, identified by CNN as a freelance journalist, explaining that actually it's not really violence because it's against property. So when they burn your house down, it's not violence. It's not violence. It's always the same script. Remember when Ali Velshi stood in front of a burning police station in Minneapolis and told you the protests were, quote, not generally speaking unruly, except for, of course, the torch police station right behind us. Or when
yeah, the billions of dollars of damages. Don't look at that. That's okay. That's okay. I think I have an Antifa donation on the chopping block if anyone's interested. Yeah, 2264. The frying pan jam.
CNN told us the riots in Kenosha were fiery but mostly peaceful. Meanwhile, people were being killed.
CNN pundits would sing a different tune if Antifa were paying the... and of course, I don't have the thing on the right page, because why would I? Oh, come on, you piece of shit, load. Loading. These CNN pundits would sing a different tune if Antifa were playing the mostly peaceful visits to their homes. Oh, they would. Absolutely. There's a reason they don't riot in Martha's Vineyard or any of those other places where these people tend to live.
They're still saying it, but this time they're even lazier. And
remember during the Watts riots that they used the police as like a body shield from getting into the rich part of LA?
More corrupt. That freelance reporter, David Peisner, you just saw on CNN, is not actually a reporter. He's a professional Antifa apologist. He is a fellow traveler for Antifa. And we're not just guessing at that. This week, he went on Twitter to raise money for Antifa, including a GoFundMe for Tortuguita, the attempted cop killer with the confusing pronouns. That's the guy CNN is calling a...
I don't know why we're so worried about Tortilla getting mortaled.
Reporter, freelance reporter. So the question is not, is CNN dishonest? Oh, they'll say anything. The question is why this particular brand of dishonesty. Why are the same people who warned you about right-wing extremists walking around the Capitol running cover for domestic terrorism in the city they're based in? Keep in mind, this is CNN saying this, and it was CNN whose headquarters, its world headquarters, CNN Center.
They did. Zach is right. They did riot outside of the CNN headquarters. I wonder what it's going to take for them, for Antifa, I should clarify. What it would take for Antifa to officially bite the hands that feed them. I'm curious.
In Atlanta was destroyed by Antifa in May of 2020 after St. George Floyd died. Remember that? In case you don't, here's the tape.
Mark Mate, JMK, Arthur, Pete, you're all on the wrong channel. Get to the Silent Sin. GTSY, I think means good to see you. Posted under pets in Discord, up to you to show. Just glad to help nature. Dude, that's so freaking cool. It just really is. It's so damn cool to keep bees. I've always wanted it. Like, I used to be terrified of bees. I used to be terrified of them. Now let's take a look. Let's take a little doomer break and take a look. It's under pets in Discord. Okay, let's go to pets. Pets. All right, here we go. Guys, let's take a look together. That's so cool. And they don't fucking bug you for standing there or nothing? They don't bother, they don't like sting your ass for being too close? What a bug. Man, that's so freaking cool. I would have all of the honey. That's so dope.
So that day in May of 2020, Antifa actually got inside CNN Center. They smashed through the windows and went right in. So if you're CNN, you'd say, well, look, we're going to have to put Antifa.
I can teach you, Sin. I'm a great visual aid trainer. When I get a house that has more than a fucking...
Women's rights? Throw them in the trash.
I gotta see that one more time.
Women's rights? Throw them in the trash.
My dog would eat the hive. It's just bad news, I think, to keep him in the yard I have now. My dog would eat the whole hive. I think Sin has time. I'd make time. Wear a suit most of the time. It's about knowing to respect their airspace. Ah.
On the do not promote list. We just can't run cover for the people who smashed the windows of our world headquarters. But they are. They're doing it anyway. Why are they doing that? Because CNN is not actually on the left. They have no ideology or beliefs. CNN is above all and always foursquare on the side of the people in charge. Always. That's who they run cover for. So they're not actually defending Antifa. They're defending the people who benefit from Antifa. And that's the Democratic Party. And in case you doubt the connection, consider Representative Catherine Clark.
Let your dog ride shotgun. Make your wife sit in back. Be a man.
Be a man. I love that one. Be a man. I love it. Women's rights? Throw them in the trash. Be a man. Okay, got to see what $9.99 does. Smash the like button, bitches. Oh, yes, they're going to get berated here in the soon. Thank you, Fostonia and Sam.
Catherine Clark is one of the senior Democrats in the House of Representatives. In fact, she's the minority whip.
When I get a new house, I'm going to have you teach me. Because my dog would just eat the bees, the honeycombs, probably the housing too. She's retarded.
She's the one who was so worried about climate change. Remember, she told you that her kids are having nightmares about it? Didn't stop her from buying $1 million oceanfront home, but whatever. So Catherine Clark's own son, Jared Dowell, was rioting along with Antifa in Boston on Saturday night. He was vandalizing a monument on Boston Common when police tried to arrest him. Jared Dowell and other protesters then assaulted the police, causing the specific officer to bleed.
Sin, are the Awoos at risk? No, of course not. Those are a staple. They can't go anywhere. Sidekick, should that one be a donation? When you're arguing with your wife, address her by her mother's name, be a man?
From the nose and mouth. Oh, that was her son. So Catherine Clark was forced to issue a statement about this, of course. By the way, stop talking about her personal life. If you knew what the personal lives of the people who run the Democratic Party are actually like, you would understand their politics much better. So Catherine Clark issues a statement and refers to her son as her, quote, daughter, of course, and wrote that, quote, this is a very difficult time in the cycle of joy and pain in parenting. It's just, part of the cycle where your adult son pretends to be a woman and attacks police officers. Totally normal. It's just part of the cycle of parenting. Yeah. Again, if you knew the details of their personal lives, you would understand their politics. This is the party of weak men and unhappy women.
Definitely a lot of the latter. A good bit of the former, but a whole lot of the latter.
But what you have in effect here is the official endorsement of domestic terrorism from the highest level of the Democratic Party. And why wouldn't you? Again, this is their militia. These are their state-sanctioned shock troops, and they are effectively immune from criticism. So you go to jail for owning a 10-round magazine, but they get to do whatever they want. Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray, who runs the FBI, are making certain that every last January 6th defendant spends years in jail. Their lives are destroyed on the no-fly list. And yet Antifa terrorists get released almost as soon as they're arrested. This weekend in Atlanta, the police arrested the 22-year-old son of a surgeon in Kennebunkport, Maine, called Francis Carroll. Now, in case you're wondering, who these...
What timing. Found out I'm allergic to bees 2 years later. My mom decided she wanted bees. I think she was hitting at something. But we had 70 pounds of honey that tastes amazing. Really? I'm sure fresh honey is just so freaking good.
People are? Well, they come from the key Democratic demographic, which of course is not people of color, working people.
I have had, the closest I've ever had to fresh honey was the one day Miss Sin wanted fresh honeycomb, and I took a bite of fresh honeycomb. Oh my God, that shit was amazing.
Well, that's nonsense. The key Democratic demographic is upscale professionals and their lunatic children. So this kid grew up in a $2 million mansion, pictures of him on his father's yacht. He was arrested on domestic terrorism charges a month ago in Atlanta. He assaulted police officers and terrorized residents. Is he still there? No! He got out of jail immediately. So then apparently he went again to an Antifa riot. This weekend in Atlanta, police say Carroll went out and committed some more domestic terrorism, including arson. So why does this kid, the rich kid, get off when the people who showed up at the Capitol, consistent with their constitutional rights to complain about what really did seem like fraud in the 2020 election, they went to jail? Well, have you ever checked the percentage of January 6th defendants who've experienced a personal bankruptcy? Much higher than average. These were...
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that, yeah.
...were actual working class people, deeply frustrated, completely out of options, and unheard by everyone in Washington. It's not an excuse for the vandalism some of them committed, but it tells you it's a...
But it sounds like an excuse.
...very different group of people. They didn't go to Middlebury or some other liberal arts madrasa. They're actual working people.
Merrick Garland is a slimy weasel. The only reason he made some handshake deal with Obama and somehow the Republicans just shit all over it. Now Biden has to honor the deal to keep him in as something in the Biden administration. It's crazy to me how Merrick Garland is anything but just some paper pusher polyword.
But they're in jail, and the rich kids are out. Is anyone going to ask Merrick Garland to explain that? Is anyone going to ask what Antifa is? Who leads this group? How many more riots do they have to lead before the New York Times gets interested and does a 5-part series on what is this? Who are these people? Who pays for this? Where do they stay at night? What's their background? Give us some news on Antifa. They're the biggest armed militia in the United States, and we know nothing about them. Why? Because they're aligned with the Democratic Party.
Pete.
But they're telling you the real threat is red voters with AR.
Everyone over on the silent
AR-15s, assault weapons. You must disarm Republican voters. No thanks. Disarm? Why don't you go ahead and disband Antifa? Go full RICO on them. Let's find out who their leaders are. Let's see them in jail.
Thank you, guys.
Then maybe you can tackle street crime and then pay a little bit of attention to the drug cartels that control the southwestern United States. And then maybe at that point, you'll convince some people to register their AR-15s. But until you do that, up yours.
And that's a fact. Not a single lie detected there. Okay, I'm going to let this play. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like tilting my head back. I really have to blow my nose.
Fox News meteorologist Adam Klotz was riding the New York City subway early Sunday when he saw an elderly man getting pushed around by teenagers. When he tried to intervene, the young men beat him. 3 of those teens, aged 15 to 17, were just released without any charges by Manhattan's DA.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Nothing weird with that.
Alvin Bragg. So frustrating. Adam Klotz is a Fox meteorologist. He joins us tonight. Oh man, you look tough. I am sorry.
I pulled this off all right, right?
Yeah, you pulled it off quite well.
I don't care how old you are. Well, I mean, within reason. Like if you're 8, I'm not going to do anything. But if you're 12, 13, 14 and up and you start punching me, it's just, I'm going to dent your little skull in. It's just how it's going to happen.
Well, and you did it in the service of a good deed, but I'm shocked. What happened?
I was on my way home from the Giants game. I was watching it at a bar with some friends, so it's like 12:45 in the morning. And the car was fairly busy, so it was not like some desolate situation. A group of, I'd say, like 7 teens. One started to light up a joint, and with the lighter still in his hand, just put a live lighter in an elderly man's hair, and it blew up like a matchbook.
Oh, come on.
His entire head was on fire, and the guy's knocking out his... And I was just sitting right there watching it, and how can you not... Whoa, guys, you can't do that. And then they just did not want to be told what they could or couldn't do. So then suddenly the focus was on me, and then, you got a problem? I said, yeah, you can't do that. And he's like, try to stop me. And, it just escalated. And it was a group of 7 guys. So I caught a left, a pretty good left, kind of put my head back into the wall. Another guy who was just down off to my right. It was, again, a crowded car. No one else said anything other than, hey, you should get off the car. I actually moved to a whole other car.
This is how you get shot. This guy's giving a demonstration of this is how you get shot. You're old enough to know better. You're fair. If you're old enough to know better, you're fair game for return fire. Fair, yeah. Sin's hands are rated E for everyone. Indeed.
On the train, like at a stop, move to another car, we go a whole nother stop, the door's open, I kind of think it's over. The whole group comes and gang rushes me and jumps on me and just starts beating me and kicking me. I hear, put him to sleep, put him to sleep, put him to sleep. They wanted to knock me out. And my goal at that point is just like cover my head, because once you're unconscious, who knows what's going to happen. And I was able to avoid that, but I got kicked up and down the side, kind of stomped on. They got their licks in for sure.
So these guys lit.
I wonder, did he get anything back, or did he just sit there and take it?
An old man on fire, and then 7 of them beat you to the ground.
Because
and
they didn't like that anyone had anything to say. Like, don't tell us what we can and can't do.
Well, you can see why Bernie Getz got off. That's pretty unbelievable. Adam Klotz, that's a shocking story, and I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Around. Thank you for doing that. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.
That's why you never let yourself get taken to the ground. I understand that it kind of can happen without your allowing it. Like, that shit can just happen. But if you can help it, do your best to stay on your fucking feet. That shit's no good. I see 63 watching and 45 likes. Guys, smash that like button. 160 something watching and 98 likes. Not bad. Smash the like button, share it out, get your ass to the silence in. Shadow Sonata, Pete, Deus, Yummy Herbicide, what a name, and Cap Gamer. Get over to the Silent Sin. This channel's going away soon. It is, that is when you pull out your piece and defend yourself. I don't care what the city laws say. I'm never, ever going to be without on a subway. Go fuck yourself. It's just not going to happen, especially in Cleveland, Ohio. Thankfully, we're lucky enough, but New York, it's not the same way. You probably get in more trouble for defending yourselves with a firearm in New York than the people actually assaulting you. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you feel so inclined, please do hit up the Streamlabs. Anything with a little dash next to it's on the chopping block.
Try to do...
And we have a whole bunch of new ones, too. And the McKinley and other stuff.
Animal segments when we can, and we try to highlight the heroism of people when we can, and occasionally those two topics come together. And the person we're speaking of is former Denver Bronco defensive lineman Derek Wolfe. So recently, a mountain lion had been stalking and killing dogs in Colorado in a neighborhood.
Fuck that lion.
Killing people's dogs. So however you feel about mountain lions, you're not allowed to kill people's dogs. So Wolfe didn't call the authorities, he acted. He grabbed a bow and arrow, hiked nearly 10,000 feet up a mountain in the Rockies, and then took out the mountain lion that had been killing dogs. Wolfe is obviously a very talented hunter and a man of action. As we said, he's a former NFL player and sports radio host. He joins us tonight. Derek Wolfe, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Why is his head? Is that his hair, or does he just have a misshapen fucking head? Oh, damn it.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
So this mountain lion was killing people's dogs, but you didn't call Fish and Game. You decided to do it yourself. Tell us about...
Well, Fish and Game, we have to file requisite forms. We have to send this up to Merrick Garland, and because he's a giant pussy, he might not like us taking out his cousin.
The decision.
You know, Tucker, before I get into the specifics of the actual hunt, I want to give some background on the mountain lion issue here in Colorado. Since 1990, there's been 23 human attacks. So that means every other year there's a human being attacked by a mountain lion. Yeah. Just last year alone, in a town up by Boulder, Colorado, 15 dogs, pet dogs, were killed in 30 days. And people were calling Parks and Wildlife wondering, where are you at? Why aren't you coming to help us?
This is a micro scenario where if you just ignore people long enough, somebody's going to take matters into their own hands, and you're not always going to like the outcome of it. That's just a fact.
I got a call from a good friend of mine. His name's Alex Nestor. This wasn't a paid hunt. I didn't pay for this hunt. It was just something that I was interested in doing. I love to hunt. And he called me and said, hey, there's a cat up here. You want to come help? And I said, yeah, let's go. So we get up there, and the first thing we see is a full-grown mule deer that he had drug across the road, right across the street from somebody's house. And then we followed those tracks up to his porch, and up on that porch, it was up on this woman's porch, and living underneath of her porch even. When we had talked to the landowner, they said, hey, we have house cats, and the cats are acting weird. We were wondering why. Well, it's because you have a full-grown 200-pound, 8.5-foot mountain lion walking across.
That dumb lady was probably feeding the fucking thing
across your front yard, and that's why. So, in Colorado, you're allowed to use dogs to get these cats treed because it's important to see what kind of cat you're after, right? You want to go after full-grown mountain lions, full-grown male mountain lions. That's what you want because those full-grown males will kill kittens as well. They will kill the kittens to get the female lions to go back into heat. So it's important to manage that herd, right? You have to manage every population of animal out here, especially these mountain lions. So we got the dogs on them, and it was the most, I'll tell you, I've been through some tough...
Jesus! Look at the size of that thing! Holy shit! Look at that! Would you eat it? I think I'd have to try just a chop off of it. Holy shit.
Training camps, brother, but this hunt was
they got Steve French.
Man, it beat me up bad. I was beat up bad. I'm all cut up and scraped up. I was in full body cramps. Barely made it up there. The cat itself, when we finally got to it, was at 9,600 feet altitude. And I don't know if anybody knows anything about altitude, but you're sucking air up at that high. Was able to make a good shot, a good ethical shot, and harvested the.
Look, I'm gonna put this out there. I love animals. They're great. If I was hunting that thing and it saw me hunting it, fuck the ethical shot. I'm taking whatever I can get. I'm keeping a pelt. I'm making a fur cloak out of this guy. I'm having the head mounted, and I'm eating it.
Cat and got him out of there and did everything by the book. This was completely legal. CPW came down and checked the cat in for me.
I don't think you can eat it. I'm gonna fucking try. I'm gonna have Bobcat burger.
I took the meat and got it processed. I'm gonna eat that cat. It's gonna be. I can't believe what's happening to me. I can't believe that going on a legal hunt, doing something legal by the book. They've had 200 calls to Colorado Parks and Wildlife trying to turn me in like I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Did nothing wrong. Everything.
Just Instagram polywords.
Things legal. So
well, one of the main reason
that
I know you have been, and the main reason I wanted to have you on tonight was just to remind people who live in rural America.
Yeah, exactly. I'm using every bit of this animal that I possibly can. I'm gonna have a necklace made out of the claw nails. I'm having a fur, like a wild mountain man fur made out of the pelt. I'm having the head mounted and taxidermied. Like, I'm doing everything with that cat. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna hunt me a mountain lion at some point.
In urban America, that like it's different when you live in a place where mountain lions kill people and
just squish the cat.
Pets. It's not like Brooklyn at all. And so maybe people should understand that before they run around making threats against men like you. Derek Wolf, I appreciate your coming on tonight. Thank you.
That is some fucking manly shit. That is some manly shit. That's fucking dope. I don't remember if I did it at the beginning of this video or not, but guys, smash the like button, share it out on your social media. Make sure you're over
I don't want to be strong like men who look pretty. I want to be strong like bitch that fight bears in the forest.
Smash the like button, share it out, make sure you're on the Silent Sin. If you are going to donate or you feel like donating, please consider one of the ones with little dash marks next to it, because those are the ones that could be going away on top of all the new ones. Hey, Sin, you want to take a local on said hunt? Yeah, we're going to have to bring Eve, though. Gamer Valine here, kitty kitty, and that's how I died after leaving it in the biggest box. Thanks, Valine.
So you vote for a political party, and you have no right to expect they'll do everything you want, or that their views will be exactly the same as yours. You may send them money and loyally support them, but of course there's going to
You can raise big cats from cubs. Yeah, you gotta have them when they're like kittens. And they don't know any better. They think they're just a big domesticated house cat. Like, you can even turn a feral cat into a house cat. But I learned something interesting, that if you release a pig into the wild, it will instinctively grow tusks. And raccoons, you can't keep as house pets until they're like 5th generation in captivity. But other things, if you just raise them from a baby, that you can keep them as pets. Eve would finally have a snuggle buddy. It's the only fucking thing big enough.
be some divergence between what you want them to do and what they actually end up doing. But for a party just weeks after taking office, in this case Republicans in the House, to flip 180 degrees on two of the biggest topics in American life,
Valine,
that's kind
funny.
of a middle finger right in your face.
Directly in your face.
Isn't it? Here are a couple of examples. The new chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCall of Texas, just announced on CNN over the weekend that any Republican who opposes sending billions more to Ukraine needs to be, quote, educated on why the borders in Ukraine matter a whole lot more than our borders here. Watch.
A lot of members of your conference, fellow Republicans.
You know how I learned that raccoon fact? A lot of people seem not to believe it. I see a few people going, that's because they're inherently assholes, etc., etc. We had a family of raccoons in our attic, like right when I moved in with Miss Sin. There was a family of raccoons in the attic. I successfully trapped the mom, and then a couple of days later, we went and let her go in the fucking woods. A couple of days later, we heard scratching in the walls. I go, fuck, there's babies up there. We go, and these things were all alive, thankfully, because I'd still be hearing shit about it if they weren't. They were so fucking small. Like, they fit in the palm of your hand. And they were the sweetest little babies you could ever imagine. We didn't have to put them in the cage to catch them. They weren't biting or anything like that. Like, they were holding you, hanging on to you. They kept crawling up your arm to sit on your shoulder. We went and let them go in the woods, and they kept the mom. God knows where the fuck the mom went, but we let them go in the woods a couple of days later, and they kept like just coming back to us. They just kept coming back. And I was like, no, we cannot keep you. And we'd set it on a tree and it would come back, and it would set it on the tree and it would come back. Then finally I told the girls to go wait in the car, and I put it on a tree and just run right all the way back. And yeah, they were so cute, but no, we can't keep them. They're fucking assholes. Raccoons are dicks. They're cute, but dicks. Were their eyes open? Yeah, they weren't babies, but yeah.
Republicans, they want to stop giving money to Ukraine.
They were tiny, adolescent.
Should Ukraine be worried that the money is going to stop coming from the U.S.?
No. I think there's enough support on both sides of the aisle.
That's the wrong answer. Listen to this again. That's the wrong answer. Oh, shit. Whoops.
A lot of members of your conference, fellow Republicans, they want to stop giving money to Ukraine. Should Ukraine be worried that the money is going to stop coming from the U.S.?
No. I think there's enough support on both sides of the aisle, majority and...
No. When's the donation? No.
The Democratic Party, majority, and the Republican, the national security chairman like myself support this. We have to educate our members. I don't think they quite understand what is at stake.
Cats are dicks too, but we put up with them. Because cats have figured out that we are inherently beneficial to their existence. They don't have to hunt mice. They just come meow at us and we put their fucking food in a bowl. Raccoons don't.
So it was just right before the last election in November that Michael McCall, that guy, was saying, no, we really should audit all these billions we've sent to Zelensky and his wife.
Taroni, stop supporting Nazis. Agreed.
In Ukraine, because we have no idea where the money went, and we should know before we send more. Now he's just saying no. The only group in America doesn't need to worry. You have to worry. You can't afford eggs. But Zelensky and his wife don't have to worry because we're never going to stop sending them billions of dollars. Then he went on to demand that the Biden administration send M1 tanks to Ukraine, because that's the part, not to our border, of his state, over which over 7 million people have come in the last 2 years. No tanks on our border, but tanks for Ukraine's border. They don't have to worry. And Lindsey Graham.
National sovereignty matters in countries that we have a vested financial interest in, not ours.
Of course, agrees. Lindsey Graham got completely unhinged visiting his real constituents in Kiev over the weekend. Watch this.
All three of us, Republicans and Democrats, share the same goal.
Can somebody please answer me a question that I just genuinely don't fucking know? How old is this Hezbollah character?
Всі троє нас, і демократи, і республіканці, ми поділяємо спільну мету.
Fuck this fat old asshole too.
For Ukraine to drive the Russians out of Ukraine. To achieve that goal,
we should not be upholding goals. We should not be upholding goals we ourselves cannot upload. Upload, Jesus Christ.
The Ukraine military needs tanks.
І щоб досягти цієї мети, українське військо потребує танків.
I'm tired of the show surrounding who's going to send tanks and when they're going to send them.
Of course, Germany could pay for it. Europe could pay for it. Ukraine is in Europe. But there's Lindsey Graham standing between the two most left-wing members of the United States Senate demanding that you pay for it after a full year. They lied to you for a year and told you Ukraine was winning. Now they're conceding Ukraine is losing, and you have to double your commitment to Ukraine. Wow, they really don't care about you, do they? At all. And just to underscore how little they care, a few days ago, the new chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, a Republican from North Carolina called Patrick McHenry, announced that one of the biggest problems with American finance today, the thing he's worried most about, is that too many white men work in banking. This fact, this overabundance of male whiteness, is apparently a pressing emergency. So Congressman McHenry directed all 6 of the financial services subcommittees to get to work fighting whiteness. The subcommittee on housing and insurance, for example, will focus on, quote, policies that continue to strengthen diversity and inclusion in the housing industry. How about just housing for men?
Sam, that's a good point. Sell them the tanks. Just don't hand it to them. And make them buy the fuels. Don't just give that to them, too.
American citizens. No, it's got to be race-based, according to Congressman McHenry.
The
In the case of the
American
subcommittee on
people
oversight,
are tired of women.
Please keep it. I don't use it often, but I love it. All right. The American people are tired of women is 30 or 2376 2376 2376
$5 a month.
Hezbollah is 38 years old. Whoa. No way. Is he really? No. No. Not fucking 38. Really? Wow. Thank you, Gulf City Librarian Matt Barnes. Keep it. I don't use it often, but I love it. All right, it's off the block.
diversity and inclusion were the only specific oversight focuses that were listed. Now, what is this? We asked. We called around
Sam, what's wrong?
Capitol Hill. And one person with knowledge of the decision-making told us that Congressman Henry is doing this because he does not want to upset Maxine.
Maybe I understood. Hezbollah, the organization? No. No. Hezbollah, the midget character. That's why I said the Hezbollah character, not the Hezbollah thing. He just popped up on my Twitter feed on the other screen. Hold on. See if I can find it. I made a tweet about Tim Pool. People are going to be on my ass about it now. This guy. This character. Hezbollah. That one.
Waters, that would be the ranking Democrat on the committee, and a person with a long history of making hateful and violent statements about white people. So Maxine Waters is an out-of-the-closet racist. She's an accomplished hater, but Congressman Patrick McHenry of North Carolina is anxious to placate her.
People are saying 20? Really? 20? Oh, the fucking $5, bitch. I hate her. Yeah, we'll vote on it next stream.
Not you, her, Maxine Waters. Now, why? Why is he so anxious to make Maxine Waters?
Oh my fucking God. Hold on, guys. Oh, my sister's such a fucking scumbag. Holy shit.
Happy. We reached out to Congressman McHenry's office today to invite him on the show to explain. He, of course, declined. That offer is always open. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight. Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Looking back, this used to be a pretty straightforward country. What you saw was what you got, or at least it felt that way. That's not the case.
Zombie Teddy, fucking same. That shit drives me up a wall so goddamn bad. The skibbity bop 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 bop. Yes, that just There's no reason it should be that annoying, but it is. Always.
Anymore. A lot of what you read at this point feels not like news, but instead like some highly curated version of reality crafted to manipulate you. Even if you're not paranoid, you feel like the crazy guy in the bus mumbling about how nothing is real, nothing is real. So at the very least, it's obvious there's a lot of court intrigue going on in American politics, and only a small percentage of it ever becomes public. One day you wake up and Kamala Harris is the vice president. How'd that happen, you wonder? No one will say, but you can be sure there's a story there. So here's the latest example of unexplained weirdness in the news. Mike Pence, of all people, has just swooped in to save Joe Biden. Yes, Mike Pence, a man so flamboyantly pure he won't have dinner with ladies not his wife. And yet Mike Pence also had secret documents in his house, just like Joe Biden. Bet you didn't see that coming. It wasn't so long ago that Pence was on television saying he was sure he had no classified documents in his possession. He said that a few times. Then just
oh shit, Omega Simp is way low on HP. Someone can definitely dethrone him.
Just days ago, Mike Pence sent his personal attorney to search his family's home in Carmel, Indiana for classified documents. Now, if Mike Pence didn't think he had classified documents, why would he send his lawyer to go look for classified documents? We can't say for certain, but it's entirely possible, in fact, it's likely, that Mike Pence was asked to do this by federal prosecutors who are trying to build a case against his old boss, Donald Trump. Now, the point would be to show that not every federal official walks off with state secrets. Donald Trump was uniquely evil in that regard, as in so many others. See, Mike Pence didn't do it. So if that was the plan, and we suspect that it was, it backfired spectacularly because Mike Pence's lawyer promptly discovered classified documents.
Isn't it crazy how all these non-classified clearance people keep finding documents? Oh, Christ, what is the matter with these people?
He immediately loaded these documents into his car and drove them back to Washington to hand them over to authorities. Mike Pence, meanwhile, not only notified the National Archives about these new documents, he also called the FBI, and then he called leaders of both parties in Congress, which is odd, because what Mike Pence did was a felony. We've heard that again.
I love that one. Miss Moonbear for 10. Cheers in GTSY. Is that the new thing? Is GTSY the new thing? Because someone was using that earlier. Good to see you too, Miss Moonbear. I hope you're well. Fustonia for the 1601. One more time before it falls off the list. You just saved it from the list. Where's that 1601? Where is it? And I'm going to do it loudly. Let me make sure you guys can hear that I do it. I know Polly gets a fucking hair up his ass when I have the clicky keys going, but you have saved it from the list.
And again, keeping classified documents at home unsecured is a felony. But Pence didn't seem embarrassed about it at all. In fact, he almost bragged about it. So clearly, Mike Pence is not worried about being punished.
The day of the twine, indeed.
For keeping secret documents in his home. And that's strange in a country where all laws are supposed to apply equally to all people. But Mike Pence is not worried about FBI raids. And that's interesting. Maybe someday we'll learn why. In the meantime, though, the effect on the media was immediate.
Ohio, round on the edge, high in the middle. Ohio.
Boop, boop. Why are you not refreshed? Cancel. Refresh. There we go. Gulf City Librarian. What the fuck? Okay, I guess so. Gulf City Librarian. Can't let it die. The Ohioan Empire must endure. All right. Where is it at? 27. Here, let me just do it like this. Bang, bang. 27, 25. Off the list.
If someone as unimpeachably holy as Mike Pence had classified
unimpeachably holy, God bless,
documents in his home, That means that every person who's ever served at a high level of government also has classified documents at home, and that means, by definition, that keeping classified documents in your house is not a big deal except when Donald Trump does it. Mike Pence proves that. If Mike Pence committed the same crime as Joe Biden must be innocent. That was the media's conclusion. Watch.
It is possible for documents to be classified that we would all look at now and think, well, that's basically public information. Like, that's
Right.
not, it's not a big deal. And so that's one of the things that if it's a strong element in what you would call the Biden defense.
Alex Jones and Matt Gaetz are staying right. I don't remember what Matt Gaetz and the 1776 and the Matt Base donation aren't going anywhere. The one I'm really, really upset about that might be going is the 5574. Maybe I'll lower it, but that one hasn't been hitting forever, and it doesn't seem that popular. And why aren't you responding to my texts, woman? I sent you a thing.
Here.
It's not a big deal. Well, actually, we got to say it.
What the fuck was I about to do? Oh.
That's mostly true, and usually isn't a big deal. As we pointed out for years now, the federal government has managed to classify more than 1 billion public documents. Now, the vast majority of these documents, citizens, us, have every right to see. Joe Biden, for example, is still hiding secrets from the Kennedy assassination 60 years ago, not to protect national security, but because the CIA doesn't want to answer questions
We're looking
about
at sea otters.
involvement.
6 of them here.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
We're looking at sea otters.
Is fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just finished Red Dead 2 today. Now I'm going to play and finish the first one. They're pretty good games based off the Wild West. They're on the list. I'm doing The Witcher right now, but they're on the list. I want to try them. I can't look at it. I'm driving. You're typing in the chat.
Involvement in the murder of an American president. And that's an outrage in a democracy. You should be mad about it. But reporters in Washington are not mad about it. In fact, they're the ones telling you that Julian Assange and Ed Snowden are criminals, not whistleblowers. So the press corps, just like the federal bureaucracy, loves secrecy because secrecy is the key to their power. On the other hand, you can never dismiss any case out of hand because the details are what matters.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of Joe Biden, what exactly was in those classified documents that he took home? The entire...
Is the floor visible at the bar yet? Yeah. Here, I'll show you guys a picture. Hold on. Oh fuck! I'm trying to do like 8 different things in the back. I'll bring up a picture. I finished it up yesterday. The young lady who sat in and did the Sexy Science Theater with Miss Sin and I, she came over yesterday and she helped me get it all organized. And I got to tell you that the female touch is super present. Like, it looks so fucking good. I sent it to myself. Why does it not show up? I like this. Refresh. And if you guys haven't seen the Sexy Science Theater, then you need to go follow my OnlyFries. OnlyFriends? My OnlyFans. It's at Sinatra Says. It's fucking hilarious. Here's what the bar looks like now. Backlit. It looks so freaking good. It looks so good. And that's just the soft whites. I took it a step further. That's the soft whites. That's the backing bottle lights, soft whites for the video. I also put RGBs on the back. So I got RGBs on the back and soft whites on the bottles. It looks so good. And she organized all of this. Like, this looks amazing. This absolutely looks amazing. The RGBs are sound sensitive. I did those up. Like, these look so freaking good. It looks so freaking good. Those are dimmable. They get dimmed a bit. I watched the Sexy Science Theater. I thought it was hilarious. Guys, it's free. It's all free on my OnlyFriends. Just go over there, give it a follow, and give it a watch.
story, the question of whether it's a big deal or no big deal at all, hangs on that question. What was in the document?
Lady Monteceros.
Why can't you tell us? Well, as of tonight, no one has told us, so we don't know. But thankfully, Miranda Devine of the New York Post may have brought us a little closer.
Why are you guys not on the Silent Sin channel? Go over there, Miss Moonbear, Pete, Dark Eyes, Earth Stewart.
Closer to the answer. So she analyzed the documents that we do have, the ones found on Hunter Biden's famous laptop. And on that laptop, she found a remarkable email, an email the Justice Department has never shown to the public, despite the fact its agents have had it for years. And the document that Miranda Devine found indicates that Hunter Biden had classified information in his possession. Almost certainly that came from his father, then the vice president. And
that's crazy. I am so shocked. So shocked.
He used that information to make piles of money for the Biden family while working at a fake job in Ukraine. That's what it shows. So if there's an actual scandal at the core of this classified document story, here it is. So here are the details. On April 13th, 2014, Hunter Biden sent an email to his business partner at Burisma, Devin Archer. Now, he sent this a week before his father, the vice president, flew to Ukraine to meet with Ukraine's prime minister. In the email, Hunter Biden composed a detailed memo with nearly 24 data points about the political and strategic situation on the ground in Ukraine. What's so immediately striking, and Miranda Devine pointed this out, having read the entire laptop, is that this email bears no resemblance to anything else we have that Hunter Biden has ever written. In fact, it sounded like something produced by the State Department. There's no...
Does light mess with liquor or just wine? I think... I'm pretty sure it's just wine. I know it does with some absinthe, but I don't keep those lights on all the time, only when I'm recording.
Question that Hunter Biden used classified materials to assemble this email. Listen carefully. Quote, the strategic value is to create a land bridge for RU to Crimea, he writes at one point. Notice he uses the diplomatic abbreviation for Russia, RU, because he's in the know. Quote, that won't directly affect Burisma Holdings, but it will limit future UK exploration and utilization of offshore opportunities in particular. It will also, Hunter Biden added, quote, further destabilize the UK nationally and for whatever government is in power, and the US will respond with even stronger sanctions. Those sanctions...
Why the fuck does Hunter Biden have this information?
Will threaten the tenuous support of the EU, which does not have the political will to incur steep energy price increases, and so on. Now, keep in mind, if you're wondering, is this plausible? Keep in mind that when he wrote this email, Hunter Biden was an active drug addict. Just 2 months before he wrote this, 2 months, in February of 2014, he'd been thrown out of the Navy for cocaine use. He couldn't even stay sober long enough to pass a scheduled drug test. He was completely out of control.
There we go, Miss Moonbear.
Yet somehow, in that state, in this email, Hunter Biden managed to sound like a seasoned Ukraine hand from Foggy Bottom, referring to Russia as RU and all the rest. And critically, he seemed to know for a fact the details of American diplomatic strategy in the region. The U.S. will respond with even stronger sanctions. How did Hunter Biden know that? Oh, come on. Come on.
Oh, you good, Luna?
Keep in mind that when Mike Flynn mentioned the topic, just mentioned the topic of sanctions to the ambassador from Russia, the FBI swooped in and destroyed his life and threatened to send him to prison. And he was the national security advisor at the time. He had the highest possible clearances you could have. Hunter Biden had no clearances whatsoever. He was the drug addict son of the vice president. And here he is in this email casually mentioning to his business partner that sanctions may be coming, and here are the effects on the EU and energy prices, in order to keep making 80 grand a month in a no-show job on the board of Ukrainian energy company, working on a topic he knew nothing about.
And giving his father 50 grand of it a month. Interesting.
So what are we looking at here? What we're looking at is a crime. That's a crime. A real one.
What's going on with you guys where the power's dropping?
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Oh, shit. trying to see it one more time. Oh my God. That's a new one. I forgot. One more time.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
We're getting freezing rain. Oh shit, man, be safe. Oh boy, North Carolina in here. Fuck McHenry, he's a scumbag. The Carolinas are a soldier state. NC supplied most of the soldiers during the Civil War. SC has Paris Island. We have the best training grounds the Carolinas produce. I hate living in purpling NC. Yeah, I bet, dude. That's insane. That is insane. Oh, you guys like that one? I'm really happy with that. Thank you, Hakira. I really appreciate the $18, man.
Hunter Biden clearly knew it was a crime. He told his business partner in the same email to go to CVS and buy a, quote, burner phone to make sure their conversations were not seen by anyone else. Now, what's amazing and so telling is that the DOJ has had this for years because the FBI seized Hunter.
Literally 4 years. Not had it 4 years, for the number 4 years.
Hunter Biden's laptop before the last presidential election in 2020. Keep in mind also the context, and the context is always Ukraine. That was true in 2004.
They're just taking away your heritage, Akira.
14, it's true in 2023. Back in 2015, Ukraine's top prosecutor, Viktor Slokin, began investigating Burisma and wondering why is it paying the vice president's son tens of thousands of dollars a month?
And why is the president charging him $50,000 a month in rent?
So how did Joe Biden respond? Well, within a year, Joe Biden, the vice president of the United States, had Slokin fired by threatening to withhold U.S. aid money to Ukraine. We're not making this up.
Isn't that the same thing Trump got impeached for?
The tape.
I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce.
So is this one a change from Kiev to Kyiv because Biden's a bumbling fucking retard and can't string a sentence together? So we're like, okay, we're just going to change the name of it.
That there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Arrogance is his weakness. Can you imagine bragging about that? Joe Biden, in front of the Council on Foreign Relations, on camera, just admitted he had the prosecutor fired because the prosecutor was doing what our Department of Justice would not do. He wanted the vice president's son investigated for trading classified information to this business.
Oh yeah, they laugh when Biden does it. When Trump does it, they impeach him.
For cash.
Guys, what shit? I wasn't even paying attention. We're like halfway to goal. Nice work, guys. Nice work.
And Joe Biden just admitted that he acted on behalf of the U.S. government, but actually on behalf of his family. That's a crime. Hunter Biden had access to classified documents. That's a crime. And here he is bragging about it. Hubris is always their undoing. So this really is the scandal right there. It's about Ukraine, and it's about the Biden family's stream of income, which was illegitimate. So we put in a very simple request today to the White House and to Hunter Biden. Simple question. Did Hunter Biden ever receive in any form U.S. government classified information about Ukraine? Period. Simple.
Yeah, his dad left it in the garage for him. What do you mean?
Simple question. Did this happen or did it not happen? Of course, they didn't respond because the answer, very obviously, we know thanks to the reporting of Miranda Devine, is yes. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the
IR 80 million votes. No, 81 million, you election denier.
So they're abandoning ship over the White House because Biden has been undone by his own party. And the clearest sign is that Ron Klain, White House chief of staff, the guy who runs everything, has said he's out of there. What's interesting, of course, he's running away. He'll have some other high-paying job. He'll be denouncing Biden within the year. What's interesting is who's replacing him. And of course, the rule in this administration is you have to pick someone with a track record of abysmal failure. So needless to say, they're picking the COVID czar, Jeff Zients. In case you've forgotten, here some of his greatest hits.
Made important strides in equity, with the majority of booster shots going to people of color. This virus knows no borders, and it's in our national interest to vaccinate the world. Bottom line, vaccination requirements work. For the
I wonder where this is going. Interesting. I can't wait to see the news entertainers fall over themselves defending this.
Unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm.
So the guy, it's humiliating. It turned out to be completely wrong. Jeff Zients had no background whatsoever in medicine. He had no idea what he was talking about. And he never apologized for it. So he's getting an upgrade. He's now White House chief of staff. But what's interesting is that Jeff Zients also got super, super rich. Now, how did a guy like that get so rich? Well, in just 1 year, 2020, Zients made between $10 and $28 million in 1 year, the COVID year.
Interesting. I also saw that Bill Gates dumped $55 million into Pfizer in 2019. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. We're almost done. These 2 days off work have been so much better. Actual rest and grieving. Just need to figure out how to celebrate my mom's life. I'm thinking an Irish wake. I don't know what that is. What is that? Can someone tell me? Heart's in the chat for Mad Cat, but what is an Irish wake?
What? What happened? Sean Davis is the CEO of The Federalist. He joins us tonight with possibly some answers. Sean, thanks so much for coming on. So always the story is, how are these people getting so rich? No one ever asked that question. Jeff Zients has gotten richer than almost anybody. How do you think that happened?
Well, it's interesting. I think especially through the COVID thing, it was a story we saw all over the country where, I know it's cliche, but the rich got richer and the poor got poorer. And Zients seems to have used...
Seriously, Valine? Why?
Much of his career. Recall, he used to be the Obamacare czar. He oversaw Obamacare's
This is so incestuous.
Implementation, which was also a government means of enriching pharmaceutical and healthcare companies at the expense of the rest of us. So really, I think his COVID stint was just the remix of his original Obamacare album.
So federal employees have financial disclosure.
Everyone's saying it's a wake with drinking. Is that the case? If so, where is it, Mad Cat?
Forms that the rest of us can see. Always the story is who's making money on these policies that don't help the public. So COVID, Ukraine, that's the one story the Washington Post never writes. Why is that?
Well, I think we know the answer is because Bezos somehow got even richer. One of the richest people on earth got richer during the COVID era. But my favorite excerpt from the Zients financial disclosure, I don't know if you saw this. You can go look at it at the White House website. He had up to $5 million in gold bars listed on there. So he's
oh, fuck.
A real man of the people.
Well, he's got a lot of confidence in the U.S. dollar, I see. The government that he runs issuing this paper that's not worth anything, he's buying gold. Ignore what they say, watch what they do. Sean Davis, thank you for that detail. It's great to see you tonight. Subscribe to the
Oh, boy. Just $5 mil.
Good evening, and...
You know, a cool $5 mil just hanging around, you know.
Welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. On Saturday morning, August 10th, 2019, Attorney General William Barr was working in his home office when his chief of staff called to say that Jeffrey Epstein had just been found dead in his cell in New York City. Barr was shocked and upset to hear this. His first reaction, as he recounts in his memoir, was to worry that some people in America might not buy the idea that Jeffrey Epstein had killed himself. Quote, "No one's going to believe it was a suicide," Barr fretted to his chief of staff. "There will be conspiracy theories all over the place." Now, that's a pretty odd response if you think about it. At the time, there was no way that Bill Barr could have known for sure how Jeffrey Epstein died. So you would think, as the Attorney General, his first concern would be finding out what actually happened. But instead, his first concern was worry that the public might jump to unapproved conclusions about what happened. And in some ways, Bill Barr was right to worry. Many Americans did not believe that Jeffrey Epstein had killed himself.
No, he didn't.
Given the strange circumstances of his death.
Oh, shit. A 15-minute video. We got about 25 minutes left. This might be our last video, guys. Smash the like button. Share it out on your social media. Make sure you're over on the Silent Sin channel. 150 to 124. Not bad, but not great. Get over there. Make sure you're subscribed. And make sure you are liking the stream. Also, please, if you are thinking about donating, make sure to hit one of the ones with the dash next to it, because those are the ones on the chopping block.
Death, stranger even than most people understood at the time.
Fort Worth sit. Fort Worth. Fort Worth. Where the fuck is Fort Worth? I should know this. Fort Worth. The Tejas, right? Interesting. Huh. Think I'll have to join you in spirit, though, Mad Cat. I'll have a drink for you.
It was going to take a sustained public relations campaign to convince Americans that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. But Bill Barr was willing to make the effort. 2 days later, he flew to New Orleans, gave a speech, and said this.
I was appalled, and indeed the whole department was, and frankly, angry, to learn of the MCC's failure to adequately secure this prisoner. We are now learning of serious irregularities at this facility.
Holy shit, Valine, is that even legal? That doesn't seem legal. That just doesn't seem legal. That's insane. Holy fuck. It's clearly what happened in its conspiracy, is it? Apparently.
That are deeply concerning and demand a thorough investigation. The FBI and the Office of Inspector General are doing just that. We will get to the bottom of what happened, and there will be accountability.
So the country is skeptical and concerned. Bill Barr is skeptical and concerned. We will get to the bottom of what happened.
Ooh, librarians hanging on by a thread. I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs and the Stream Boss. It apparently is counting money for double the HP. So if you want to take him out, now's your chance.
And there will be accountability, he promised that day. But that turned out to be untrue. 3.5 years after Jeffrey Epstein died, no one has gotten to the bottom of what happened that day, and there has been no accountability.
Please have a shot. You know what? Hold on. I got you. I have a bottle over here. That I was going to give to Mama Sin because I'm not a super big Irish whiskey fan. It just doesn't scratch me where I itch. It's very scotchy without the scotchness, but I think we can to Mad Cat and to Mama Cat.
For it. The only people ever punished for the grotesque malfeasance surrounding Epstein's death were 2 low-level guards who fell asleep on duty that night. Both pleaded guilty to falsifying.
Weird how they both fell asleep.
Government records. But last year, with no real explanation, an Obama-appointed judge dropped all charges against both of them. One of the guards may still work for the federal government.
Just hidden identity, hidden taxes, you know.
As for getting to the bottom of what happened, despite many promises from many various officials, neither the FBI nor the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General has ever issued a report explaining how Jeffrey Epstein died.
And it's been about, I don't know, 1,300 something days, and nobody on the flight list has been indicted. Ghislaine Maxwell has been sitting in jail. No one indicted, nothing, everything's fine. You know, they're running a pedophile ring, but no one else, apparently just them two. No one ever visited.
Not a word. So once again, 3.5 years after one of the most widely covered deaths of our time, there are still no answers and there is still no accountability. Why is that? Well, many reasons, probably, but one of them is that Washington veteran Bill Barr, the only man in the modern era to serve as Attorney General twice, declared the Epstein case...
Hagrid, you're pushing me over the fucking line! You're gonna go to Hogwarts, you're gonna do spells, you get a wand, you get a fucking owl, it'll deliver your mail. Deal with it, you twat! I'm gonna fucking put my dick in the owl!
Epstein was an inspector general. He always got to the bottom of things. Ugh. Hey. Ugh. Dude, pulling on the collar. Ugh. Yeah. Oh, Akira, good point. Good point. This is just insane to me. This is insane. They have figured out that, you know, they figured out how many ball hairs Nick Fuentes has, but they just haven't indicted a single person on the Epstein flight list. That's fucking nuts.
Closed. Now, at first blush, Barr seems to have good reason for doing that. By the end of 2019, Barr writes in his memoir, I was confident that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide by hanging himself. Now, why did Bill Barr believe that? Well, the first piece of evidence he offers up is this, quote, the New York City medical examiner had conducted an autopsy and ruled that Epstein killed himself by hanging. That's the first piece of evidence. The second is this. It's a videotape that, quote, confirmed the medical examiner's findings. I personally reviewed that video footage, Barr writes. It shows conclusively that between the time Epstein was locked in his cell at 7...
It's like when Archer was going in to swap out the blood for the DNA test. And he's like, well, this has been totally fine except for these few missing frames right here.
1:49 p.m. on the night of August 9th, and the time he was discovered the next morning at 6:30, no one entered his tier, end quote. Therefore, Bill Barr explained, we can know for sure that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
This is got to be the single most bold lie that they have ever tried to feed us to cover up their own misgivings. Yeah, Ghislaine was found guilty. Ghislaine was found guilty, but nobody else. Nobody else. No one. Just Ghislaine, and the guy who knew, probably said he was going to talk, just happened to kill himself. I can't believe people fucking buy this shit.
In his book, Barr ends this section on Epstein with a self-congratulatory note. The management changes I made at the time to the federal prison system were good ones, and I think the agency is slowly on its way back. In other words, everything is fine now. Let's move on. This was enough for most journalists in Washington. Virtually every subsequent news story about Jeffrey Epstein's death denounced skeptics of the official story as crazy.
Welcome to the end of your life, and I promise it's going to hurt.
Streamlabs person. Testing. Been listening to Yamooks for years. Unemployed for years. I've returned with employment without something. You are in part to blame for this. Fuck you. Take the resultant doll hairs. Okay. What is that? 2311. What the fuck is 2311? What is 2311? It's question marks. Why is it question marks? Oh. We have a mystery. We have a mystery. What is the mystery? What is 2311? It's supposed to be a thing. It's in the description and on my board. What is it? 4622? Let's try that. Oh. 23, 47. 2, 3. Let's go 2, 3. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. No. Could it be this? Did I just label it wrong?
Go to the church and ask God to forgive you.
Nope, I just clicked the wrong thing. Oh, there we go. Looks like I just labeled that wrong. No, maybe not. I don't know. What is this? What is this? Huh, okay. I'm gonna have to fuck with this. I don't know what's going on with it.
In quote, baseless conspiracy theories. What's amazing, in retrospect, is that none of these reporters, veterans at the Washington Post, the Associated Press, NBC News, the New York Times, many others, none of them ever thought to revisit Bill Barr's assessment of Epstein's death and measure it against the basic tenets of common sense. If you did that, you saw that what Bill Barr said about Jeffrey Epstein was transparently absurd.
Oh, is it this? Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I fucked it up. That was my bad. It's not 2311, it's 2611. I just annotated it wrong because I'm an idiot. Hold on.
If I'm really as evil as you say I am, then let God strike me down where I stand. Ha! Nice try, jackass. Next time, give it your A game. If I'm really as evil as you say I am, then let God strike me down where I stand. Ha! Nice try, jackass. Next time, give it your A game.
Okay, I fixed it up. Thank you. I think Streamlabs freaked out. I don't know. It says SLID and a bunch of numbers. Testing. Been listening to Jamokes for years. Unemployed for years. I have returned to employment without self-eskai. You are in part to blame for this. Fuck you. Take the resulting doll hairs. I'll take it. Thank you. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll take it.
Absurd and very obviously dishonest. Barr began by claiming that the medical examiner who conducted Epstein's autopsy ruled his death a suicide. But that is not true. The initial cause of death following the autopsy was not suicide, but, quote, pending, which is to say unclear. The medical examiner who performed the autopsy could not say how Jeffrey Epstein died. Forensic pathologist Michael Bodden, who was also...
Hello, chat. What did I miss while I was on a bike ride with my nephew? Okay, I'm going to give Festonia the TLDR of the stuff I did at the beginning of the stream. Viewership on Sinatra Screams and on The Silent Sin will be going away the 14th, the week of the 15th. That Sunday, the 15th will be the last one on that channel, and that Tucker Tuesday, the 13th, will be the last one there too. Gone. All the donations down below with little dashes next to them are donations that if they are not hit or are hit and not enjoyed by the time we're done, will be deleted as well. So they're annotated with a little question mark or a little dash. We have a whole bunch of new ones and changed ones. Thursdays are going to be Twitch streaming stuff, and McKinley stuff should be sent out as soon as Massin can get here and put stickers on the packages. Bang, bang, bang. And then after that, we're going to order the next Comic Club stuff.
Present that day came away believing Epstein had been murdered. After reviewing...
Everybody knows Epstein was murdered.
More than 1,000 suicides by hanging in New York State, Bodden later said he couldn't find a single neck injury, not one, that matched the injury that Epstein sustained. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, Bodden concluded. He was strangled. The physical evidence he saw at the autopsy made that obvious. But New York City's chief medical examiner, Barbara Sampson, who was not present at the autopsy, overruled the judgment of those who were. Days later, on the basis of no new evidence or investigation...
So basically just a whole bunch of housekeeping stuff, and then a really entertaining Tucker.
Barbara Sampson simply declared Jeffrey Epstein's death a suicide. That was the city's official but totally unsupported conclusion, which Bill Barr and many others promptly repeated. Why did Chief Medical Examiner Barbara Sampson do that? We don't know. We called Sampson today to ask her, but she hung up on us. Then there's the question of the videotape, which Barr cited. Both cameras trained on the door of Jeffrey Epstein's cell did not work that night, famously. And to this day, no one has explained why they didn't work. So the video footage that Bill Barr said he watched didn't cover Epstein's cell, just the entrance to the larger cell block. No one came in or out of the tier, Barr said. Therefore, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. So let's consider that claim rationally. On the night of August 9th, Jeffrey Epstein was being held in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan.
I'm such an idiot. I looked at this and said, how did they do this? How were their cells stacked on top of each other?
The most secure part of the city's federal lockup. It would be physically impossible for a stranger to get in and out of this facility without an electronic pass and without being seen by the countless cameras in place between the street and the locked 9th floor of the building. So if Jeffrey Epstein was murdered, he was not murdered by an intruder, someone who came into the tier. He was murdered by someone on his own cell block, obviously. There were 7 other cells on Epstein's tier, and each one housed dangerous criminals. So if you were looking for a killer, you would figure out who was in those cells. But no one seems to have thought of that or done it. The Bureau of Prisons refused to provide us with a list of the inmates on Epstein's tier.
Because of course.
It's not clear how many of them were even interviewed by investigators, despite the fact that some of them were transferred out of the facility shortly after Epstein's death. That's a baffling oversight. Instead, Attorney General Bill Barr simply assured the country that no one from outside came into Jeffrey Epstein's tier and declared the case solved. And if you think about it, that is a remarkable way to assess a potential crime scene, especially when you consider the source. Bill Barr was not a civilian or a crime novel aficionado. He was the chief law enforcement officer of the United States. He was the nation's top cop. His job...
Isn't it crazy how the top cop is corrupt? I must tell you, I, for one, am completely shocked.
Was to solve crimes. And yet somehow, with all his law enforcement experience, it never seemed to dawn on Bill Barr that if there was a killer, the killer would have come from one of the cells on Epstein's tier. And then further, apparently, no one in the entire FBI suggested this to Bill Barr as they reviewed the case. Excuse me, Mr. Attorney General, it doesn't matter what the camera outside the tier shows. What matters is what happened inside the tier. Again, obvious. And
so
yet,
obvious.
Apparently, no one at DOJ ever said that to Bill Barr, and no one in the media noticed.
No. And the media is not allowed to notice if you guys haven't paid attention. If they do notice, then they're sexist, racist, anti... What was it? They're... Shit. Fuck, what is it? Usually with concrete. How are the cells stacked on top of each other? Usually with concrete. Yeah, I thought they meant like vertically, not horizontally. I'm very, very smart man. Anti-Semitic, that's what it was.
All very strange. And the story gets much stranger once you start pressing a little bit. We've pressed pretty hard for the last few days on this question, not because we have any special affection for Jeffrey Epstein. We've pressed because you don't want to live in a country where it's possible to murder people in federal lockup, cover up the killings, and then get away.
Uh-oh. All right, we'll take a look at this in a second. Ethan Klein did a thing.
Away with them. That's scary.
Why?
That should not be allowed in this or any other civilized place. But in the case of Jeffrey Epstein, it appears that it was allowed. And on one level, you can see why it was. This is one of those crimes that has no natural constituency pushing to solve it. The only people who liked Jeffrey
Sinatra, can we get a link to the new channel? I'm sorry I cannot provide a link. I don't even want the YouTube bots to see it. At least not now, so you're just going to have to look up the Silent Sin. It's the avatar with the hat on a microphone with a little rocks glass.
Epstein were his friends, and some of them are clearly happy he's dead. Here's Bill Gates, whom records show spent quite a bit of time with Jeffrey Epstein after he became a registered sex offender.
What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
No, you didn't. You were a frequent flyer. Shut the fuck up. We know. We saw. We see.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so you know, in general,
you'll never get
always
the
have to be
information from me,
careful.
you dumb bitch. Oh, shit, I didn't mean to talk over that. He's dead. You'll never get the information from me.
Anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so you know, in general, you always have to be careful.
Well, he's dead, along with his many secrets about me and the rest of our friends. Boo-hoo, we're so sorry, so sorry. You can imagine that Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew and many, many others feel the same way. No one wants to talk about what happened to Jeffrey Epstein because privately a lot of people are happy about what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. This week, we've called virtually every person involved in the story surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's death. And with very few exceptions, none of them would speak to us. Some of them hung up immediately. Others declined all comment. One of them, the DOJ case officer supposedly assigned to investigate Epstein's death, refused even to acknowledge that he worked for the federal government. I'm not going to confirm or deny that, said Mr. Lyson Daniel when we reached him on his cell phone.
Crazy.
Why is that, we asked him. I'm not going to confirm or deny that, he repeated. For his part, former Attorney General Bill Barr also turned down our offer to come on tonight. He did not explain why. One person we did speak to at length is Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, his only living relative. The two were never in business together, but Mark Epstein wound up more financially successful even than his famous sibling. So he's not looking for money from the estate. He is interested in finding out what happened to his brother.
And I'm curious, what did happen to the money?
On the basis of those conversations with Mark Epstein, as well as with a criminal defense attorney called David Schoen, who also knew Jeffrey Epstein well and met with him in his cell shortly before he died, here is a list of questions that any honest investigator would want the answers to. First, why do so many public officials persist in claiming that Jeffrey Epstein attempted suicide in prison once before, on July 23, 2019? Now, that's a very convenient claim if you're trying to convince people that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, but there is no evidence that it's true. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein himself adamantly denied ever trying to kill himself, in prison or out. He denied this to his friends, to his lawyers, and to prison psychologists. He said instead that he was injured by another inmate. That's why he was in fetal position on the ground. According to David Schoen, who talked to him shortly after that event, Epstein seemed upbeat, happy, and confident of his release from jail. But he was very concerned about being hurt by someone in a nearby cell. And speaking of nearby cells, were the cells on Epstein's tier locked for the entire night, the night he was killed? We've heard from a source that they were not locked, that inmates were able to move from one cell to another, including into Jeffrey Epstein's cell.
Why the fuck would they not lock the cells? This makes no sense. Why would you have a bunch of friggin' violent offenders just able to roam freely?
Can the Bureau of Prisons give us clarity on this? Can they prove otherwise? And by the way, who moved Jeffrey Epstein's body and who gave the order to do that? Epstein was discovered the morning of August 10th by a part-time prison guard called Michael Thomas, who amazingly was the very same guard who discovered him in fetal position on the floor after his previous falsely reported suicide attempt. But by the time the EMTs arrived, Epstein's body had been moved to the prison infirmary. That's a clear violation of federal policy. Who ordered that? And though Jeffrey Epstein had been dead for at least 2 hours when the guard found him in his cell, by the time the EMTs arrived, Epstein was clad in a hospital gown. That means that somebody, for some reason, cut away Jeffrey Epstein's prison uniform and redressed his stiffening corpse in new clothes. Why would anyone do that? And then to make it even stranger, Jeffrey Epstein's corpse was intubated. Air was blown into his lifeless lungs. It's not clear why. Now, there was handheld video of all of this happening. That might explain it, but that video has never been released. In fact, authorities will not even acknowledge that it exists, but it does exist. Nor has the EMT's account of what they saw that day, their mandatory so-called pre-hospital care report, ever been released. Nor, most strikingly of all, are there photographs of Jeffrey Epstein dead in his cell.
And yeah, that's really interesting. Kaiser, go to the new channel.
And that means it's impossible to know the position of his body when it was found or how he died.
Akira's pretty low on HP. You guys are really flip-flopping this. Maybe Thursday or Friday we'll have a Stream Boss War stream. I haven't had one of those in a while.
Jeffrey Epstein hanging from a bed sheet, as the authorities insist. They say he was strangled by a ligature of his own making. His neck was bloody, but the strip of sheet was not. Or was he killed with the electrical cord from his CPAP machine for sleep apnea? That's what Dr. Bodden concluded, because that would be consistent with his actual injuries at autopsy. These are very basic questions. These are not conspiracy theories. They're obvious questions. They are the essential questions, in fact, in any legitimate investigation.
And why nobody else in the news just why nobody else in the news just doesn't talk about this, I will literally never know.
But apparently nobody has even tried to answer them. We dutifully called the Department of Justice today to ask them to explain some of this. They refused on the grounds that there's, quote, an active investigation in progress.
I thought it was all cleared up. Why is there an active investigation?
But that is a lie. There is no investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's death. For moving on 4 years now, there has never been an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's death, the death of an American citizen. Now, we can only speculate as to why that is, but all the explanations are bad and ominous. Maybe someone in the new Republican Congress should look into all of this, not because Jeffrey Epstein was an American hero, but because for once it would be nice to see the federal government forced to tell the truth about something. Subscribe to the Fox News.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. They can deride anybody saying, you have to tell us the truth, by calling them conspiracy theorists and racist. QAnoners and alt-righters. I think that shit is all a psyop. I really and truly do. And I know people get all up in their feels when I say that, but I'm telling you honestly that I truly believe, I really and truly believe that the term, both of those terms, both of those terms are psyops to just put people asking the right questions in a line. What in the fuck what does that mean? I'll deal with that in a second. But guys, that's the end of the show tonight. Thank you for coming and hanging out. We will wrap this up. We have 1, 2, 3. We got a good half an hour or so of Tuck left. Oh shit, maybe a full hour. We will wrap this up Thursday right here. No, that'll be on Twitch. I'm sorry, on Twitch. AAA tomorrow at 5:30 EST. I will see you guys there. Everyone have a lovely, lovely evening. I'll see you all in the next one. Good night, guys.